Out of all the philosophers I studied, out of all the philosophers I read, Marcus Aurelius, Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, I think Jesus is the one philosopher that's built different. I'll be honest with you. Not out of religion, but if you truly try to understand his word, I think he might be legit, you know? The reason why I think you should study more about Jesus in terms of like mm, just understanding his what do you call this? His moral teachings is to become great in the most purest form manner. And what do I mean by that? Great in the most purest form manner. Do I have to be an emperor or anything like that? No, but to fulfill like your life's purpose, you know what I mean? It's to like to be the David Goggins without the bad words, you know? That's what I meant by becoming great becoming great in your own in your purpose, with your purpose, you know? That's what I meant by it. And honestly, well, how I see it is, look at this. Look at this chart. This is the good and bad spectrum. This is the good and bad spectrum. So this is the good. These are the people close to good. These are the people close to bad. And some people could probably, maybe some people could, if they acknowledge their mistakes, they could come back from it, like in a split second if they want to. But anyway, let's think of it this way. Okay, let's think of it this way. So the bad comes from the bad people, that from the bad people, yeah, from the bad source. Those are the bad source that probably came from the most evil, and the good comes from the good news, the good himself, the source. Now the bad. Now let's look at it this way. The bad comes from Satan, and who's influenced by Satan is the bad people are with Satan. And the good comes from God. All things that are good comes from God. So where does Jesus belong? Is he here? Is he here? Is he here? Could be here. Could be here. Some people, he could be here to the bad. But I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's placed in this spectrum, because I think he is the source himself. I know it's crazy. It's crazy to some people who like haven't heard of him, or some people who doesn't know him that much. That this is a crazy take. It's a very biased take. But after understanding him more, after reading him about him more, I think he's here. He's the source himself of the good, even just by his moral teachings, even by his teachings. Like his teaching, he's like Shakespeare before Shakespeare. You know what I mean? He's like the Shakespeare before Shakespeare. And yeah, the reason why I think he's good, like his upbringing, his life. Like he was a carpenter. He was a carpenter who lived in a hometown that is poor. This is like zero to hero type of crap. Then he all of a sudden he decides to like preach the good news, preach the good news. Preach the good, preach it in stories, preach it in like man. Like he even had this like training arc. Like he in the wilderness he had this 40 days like he didn't eat or anything like that, and then he got tempted, of course. But yeah, but he just pushed through the end of restraining stuff. And yeah, it's just a crazy life from him. Like how he lived this life from beginning to end, it's admirable. the most admirable thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. You might say, Jesus has many contradicting teachings or many questionable teachings, and millions of people die because of that. Yes, that's true. And for the questionable teachings, that's for another video. But for the people, millions of people dying, is it in vain? Well, let me recite you a quote in the Bible. If you don't believe in the Bible, just look at it in a fictional manner. But here, in John chapter 14, it says, Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going, and how can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, the wait. Jesus. Okay, let me. I might cut that off. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you're going, and how could we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Like, I would, I would throw it all. Like, I understand why people are dying for him. But it's like this guy gets you. And then before that, even before these verses, he says, let not your heart be troubled. You who believe in God, believe also in me. In my father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. Like, I would throw it all. Like, I would throw it all. I understand why people are throwing it all for Jesus, right? They're throwing their lives for Jesus. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I study more about Jesus, and hope this video makes you want to study about Jesus. If you study about Jesus and then you see his contradicting teachings, just look at it as a math question, a hard math question. What the hell, Jesus? What does this mean? You're gonna separate the household between men and father and son, mother and daughters. What do you mean by that, Jesus? But yeah, that's it. Thanks.